Hello, everyone. Carolyn and myself are here, and we're going to chat a little bit about our current life and situation in the world and whatever may come up. Today was actually scheduled the Inner Journey gathering, but we canceled that, and we um, decided to come and chat with each other here in the chat room and see what needs to come forward and share that if interesting. Hi, Carolyn.
Hey,
So whenever you talk, you be in the vision, and whenever I talk, they will see me. So yeah, so we started to talk already over the phone a little bit about you know how life is, how everything is so surreal at this moment, and I'm sure everybody is experiencing that because everybody's world is more or less forced to being operated in a different rhythm. We we may have known already that we needed to adapt to a different rhythm, but we kind of were stalling. But now there was really not a choice. Everybody needed to stop and stand still and reevaluate, what's truly important for them. And I wonder if everybody is doing that because there's still, I'm sure, a lot of people that are still rushing, 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 and trying to do things that they think is important, forgetting truly to listen to their heart and prioritize according to their choices instead of outside um, measures. How's that going with you, Carolyn?
the way I see everybody's, the ones that are still running around like things are the old way, it's just avoidance tactics. Just choosing not to stop long enough to even understand that something's going on that you need to change.
Right. Still hiding, still hiding.
Oh
Even
my gosh, yes. Just like you're hiding and pretending like there's no virus out there at all.
mm-hmm.
It's just like everybody else is crazy, and you're just going to keep on living your life the way it was, choosing to have those blinders on for as long as you can. It's almost like they know, and they are so opposed to and avoiding it. They're going to extremes with it.
Yeah. Until it hits their family or their loved ones, and then they will stand still and think like, okay, this is for real, and I guess I need to change my ways, my rhythm, and my focus and my priorities. I think this is a very important time for people to be still um, and let go of the drive that doesn't belong to their hearts. And uh, you asked me earlier how I am experiencing everything. It feels like death, and I shared that with you also prior. Uh, that when you tune into the energies of the world, it feels like death. It feels like death waiting for a rebirth. That is more or less being held back because of certain choices that are still being made. And this whole event, this whole cataclysmic event, I guess, that's happening to us here on this planet, is inviting us to take off our blindfold. And the longer we are fighting that, the worse it will get with this pandemic, I feel, because this is just the start of everything. And you can see it in certain countries where people, like in China where it started, things are coming to a um, better place now because people all took it seriously and they adjusted and call it a different culture, a different way of um, living, with society. But I think it has to do with taking life serious and understanding that you have to put effort into something. And you cannot expect change without changing, you know. So yeah, in China things have been going in a better direction right now, but you never know for how long because um, there are so many factors a part of this whole pandemic that that all needs to be accounted for to make it go away, if ever go away for good. Because it's just like with the flu, it will be lingering in a dark alley, and then showing its face every now and then again, popping up. Until, of course, there's a vaccination for that. But I'm not really sure about the vaccinations, and if that's something that will be beneficial for the long run. Because just like with the flu, there's different types of flus um, coming forward, and different strands or whatever you want to call it. And that's the same thing with this. It will evolve and it will adjust and adapt. So what will we do? How will we adjust and adapt? So um, right now, I just think personally that we just have to be still for a moment. Just be still, do what needs to be done in the house with your family, and choose your family, choose your priorities, choose truly where your heart um, um, calls home, and be there. And I can see that around in my own life too. That um, you can see the truth now really arising, out of people's actions, and it's really easy to see lies. Whenever somebody lies or says a lie, it's really easy to see that, and it's far easier not to let it affect you anymore. Maybe in the beginning a split second, but then you let it go and let it be and just do your thing. So how are you experiencing? Because you still have to work from home now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm grateful for that in a way. That is some semblance of being productive, I guess, during this period of time. You can only clean so much and do some of that. Um, and it also keeps me in touch with some of those people that are a little bit out there on the fringe too. We've talked about the fringe people, and I feel like those people are all around us, and I'm not sure when the fringe people are going to have their big wake up call, because I realize this is like the wake up call, like
Right.
maybe the first wave of the wake up call.
Mm-hmm.
So
I want to suggest to stop the recording and continue on my phone, because I see the internet is not really that good, and I'm afraid that when we listen back that things are cut out.
okay.
So let's just I'm just going to stop the recording right now and restart on my phone. Okay, so I hope this is better connection.
Sounds good so far.
All right. Okay, well, let's go back to you were sharing about your work and how people are a little bit still on the fringe on choosing truly, to dive deep.
Yes, and I feel like we all have just groups of people that maybe kind of stick on our mind, as they might be those kind of people.
Mm-hmm.
That we're not, of course, we're not going into work and communicating the same way we did before, but it's kind of just the keeping track of and the touch points with people, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling that more and more. I mean, people I haven't messaged for a while, or that kind of thing. It's like I suddenly have the urge to just touch base and see what's going on with them. Just
Right.
feel drawn to certain people to do that with.
And when you touch base, how is it?
As far as how are they responding to what's going on around them?
Right.
Most people are not in the best place mentally, I think, with what's going on. But I kind of expected that also. So I feel like that's kind of the place that we're expected to be, like that bright bright spot. So there again, it's not that I don't expect that they're kind of going to be in that place. So it's not that I prepare or anything like that, but I'm not surprised by their responses typically.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people that just do whatever they can do in this time, you know, um, do things in the yard. You know, there's beautiful weather here in Oklahoma right now, so people are doing things in the yard or do whatever they need to do outside of their house. I've seen a lot of cars still driving in Edmond and on the
It makes me
highway.
wonder where they're going.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
don't have a workplace to go to, and there's really not that many places open. So what are these people really doing? Are they avoiding being at home?
I don't
Or
know. Yeah. Well, I know that I needed to go out and do some things, you know, to close up the center. So I had to also go to Lowe's, and there were people at Lowe's too. And there's a lot of people at Lowe's now also buying plants and things like that.
oh, I wanted to. I really did.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what people are doing really. And for me, it's just very common to be at home. You know, I can be at home really easily. I have a lot of stuff to do, and I can do a lot of stuff. I can create a lot of things. So for me, it's not boring, you know, and for me, it's not different because it's kind of the pace that I have lived in for a long, long time. My kids have been homeschooled through Epic in the last 5 years, and before that, other places. So for me, it's very normal to be at home with my kids. So, but I can understand for other people that are used to going out to the office or at work, and the kids go to school, and they only see them, you know, later in the afternoon or in the evening. And now they have to help them with schoolwork, and that's something that they've never done before. So for them, it's kind of like a big, big change in the pace, you know. So I
Oh
cannot
yeah,
really,
because it's cutting off all of the after school activities and all that too.
right? Yeah,
Oh yeah, it's big difference.
yeah. But as I just described a little bit, for me, not. You know, for me, it's pretty,
Yeah.
really the same. Only, you know, of course, my work is not the way it was, but um, my regular home life is still the same. So um, people that are stressed now, more stressed or more aggravated because they have to deal with certain people that they normally don't deal with that much, their own family. um, um, yeah, they are more or less confronted with um, their loved ones, and yeah, I don't know if there's a lot of separation going to come from this or more closeness, you know. It all depends on how you stand in life and what kind of truth you have lived, you know. If you have lived a certain truth, um, or that more or less is not a truth, but is a mask. You put a mask on because that fits your life, and it fits um, the the rhythm that was being offered. Um, you may bump your nose now, you know, because you will have to deal with these people or these interactions far more intense than what you normally could avoid when you go to work or go to school or whatever, you know.
Yeah, you can't walk away from them. If you're there with them 24/7, I think a
Right.
lot of stuff is going to come out. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of I think it's a good opportunity for people to have conversations with each other, have good communication with each other, and share uh, special time with each other, create things, have fun, play some games, board games, go outside if you can, it all depending where you live, of course, um, and do some exercise together, go on a walk, you know, or whatever, or ride the bike, and yeah, spend quality time with each other.
I mean, get to know the people that you love.
Hmm. Yeah,
Everybody's been living like strangers for so long. They don't know who the people are that live with them.
No?
They haven't spent more than an hour a day. Some of them less than that with the
Right,
people that's their family.
right.
So
Yeah. A few
now's the
hours.
time. You're
Okay.
going to get immersed in family life.
Yeah. And it's going to be interesting for sure, you know, and you're going to revalue um, the what you have, I guess, because you will realize what you have or what you had, uh, and um, what is right in your face right now. So yeah, interesting stuff. To drink something. But yeah, so do you want to share a little bit about your daily life now? Normally you go to the office early, and now, what are you doing now?
Uh, get up a lot later, that's for sure. It's nice to go to work in your jammies. It really is, you know. You can, take time and eat breakfast in between. You can eat breakfast whenever you want to.
Right,
But I don't miss the commute, and I don't miss being in the office either.
right. So
It's simplified my life. That's the way I've wanted to do it for a long time. So as far as like the workplace stuff, I'm kind of in my sweet spot with that as far as that goes, because I can keep on working just the same.
good. Yeah, that's awesome. So you would have been able to work from home actually, and maybe your boss will find out that this is also an option.
Well, I've told them before that I prefer to. I mean, it's not that I mind being there, but why, I said, why am I spending my time in the car, 30 minutes back and forth just to get to the office? And I could get up and be doing exactly the same thing. We've just been holding all these big buildings full of stuff for not really all that good of a reason anymore. It would change a lot of women's lifestyles for the better if they could stay home and do
Right,
some of their stuff that they have to do in the evening, just during the day.
right.
If they wanted to homeschool their kids, they could. I mean,
Yeah.
I just see it as giving big business an opportunity to reevaluate that whole situation of why we're clustering
Mhm.
somewhere. What's the reason for that when we can make contact
Right.
and do our
Yeah.
job?
I think a lot of people will realize how nice it is to work from home, but a lot of people also will be fed up with being at home. It all depends on who you are and what you have allowed yourself to, hmm, what silence you have allowed yourself to embrace. Because a lot of people need to have busyness around them, um, and need other people around them, because then they feel far more complete, because if they're only by themselves, you know, they feel lost, or they feel um, way too much that they don't want to feel. And it's harder to hide from yourself when you're all by yourself.
Oh yeah, there's no distractions. There's no
Right.
distractions there.
Yeah, but I think it's a good thing to contemplate upon. Why um, do you run away from silence? Why do you run away from self? And start loving yourself more, and start looking at yourself in a different way, and see truly um, that there are no flaws or darkness. It's all beauty and it's all light. It's just up to you to love that and embrace that fully.
That, that kind of hit my heart, though. It just makes me think about some of the people that are having such a hard time with it. I think that's already happening. What happens when you have to stay home with this person that you really don't like yourself, and everything gets still and quiet? I mean, I can see that a lot of that is happening already. That, I mean, there's no place to run from the silence right now. I mean,
Right.
you can watch Netflix or whatever for a while, but eventually you're going to come back to the silence and kind of rediscovering who you are.
Right. And now people are forced to do that, for sure. As you were saying, when people are forced to live with the ones that they don't really like, it's not only themselves, but also other people around them, as we talked before. and more truth will step forward and will be revealed, and that will lighten your days eventually. Of course, you have to go through certain things to reorganize things, but eventually, when you let go of the things and the people that don't serve you any longer, and you have outgrown, you will find a brighter perspective on life, and truly live according to your truth instead of being forced to live, according to others people's beliefs and trusts and truth, you know.
That's the thing about being with yourself. I mean, you don't even have to put on mask of any kind or be anything according to anybody else's standards.
Right.
It
Yeah,
becomes really pretty simple.
absolutely. Absolutely. It becomes really simple.
But stripping away your stuff too depends on how much stuff that's getting stripped away from you right now too. How hardly you were, encased in your old life, and how far you'd run away from yourself. It's going to be pretty painful for people when they come right down to what their naked self looks like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
in the silence.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of trauma, unhandled trauma, within people's essence. And the people that have been on their spiritual path have been peeling those layers off, with all the self-discovery that they have made, due to all um, the different hmm, the different concepts of existence that they embrace along their way. But anyways, I'm drifting off a little bit. But it's going to be harder for people that haven't allowed themselves to awaken, to their truth just yet, because but that's the way it is. The longer you wait, the harder the trials, the harder the confrontation for you, that pushes you in the direction to truly see and truly do what needs to be done, and this is it, you know and this is something that is very, very disruptive towards people's flow, but eventually it will be for the better for humanity, I feel, and for this planet. You can already see now how the pollution is diminished because people are not working in factories or driving and as much as they normally do. So a big shift is happening on many levels, for sure.
It it makes me hope that we can hold on to some of the most positive aspects of it, for sure. We haven't glimpsed it. The younger people haven't glimpsed any of this stuff. I mean, really understanding uh, what it's like for things not to be polluted or not to have all this noise and sound and people going 24 hours a day. When I was younger, there was nothing open on Sunday. Church was open and that was it. And the businesses rolled things up at 7, 8 o'clock at night. You had to be in silence after a certain time because there was flat out nothing else to do. That's how life was. And
Right.
and that's in my lifetime, so I can't imagine what it was like before that. When there wasn't a shop on every corner, when going to town was like an event,
Right. Yeah.
You stayed home.
Hmm.
So definitely some people that haven't seen some of these things gonna find out what the difference is and maybe what they want to choose
Right.
going forward.
And the thing is, I always felt this drive many, many years ago, that there's an importance, it's very important to create your own community, And right now, with all the pollution and all the with the virus going around too, um, it would be far easier if you have your own community where you also have your own greenhouse, where you plant your own food, your own vegetables and fruit. So you know where your food is coming from, so you don't have to fear it. The people that you communicate with and interact with, are your community, are in your life, and you know that they're healthy. So you don't have to fear it, like, oh man, maybe they have the coronavirus or whatever. They are within your community, and they, you know them, and you know where they have been. And I wonder how this is going to evolve further down the line, because this virus, um, will not go away completely, just like the flu is never away completely. And will that prevent people to fly? Will that prevent people to travel as much as they do now? Will they stay home more, or will they create their community, as I just talked about, more? And reevaluate the true meaning of life, So it's going to be interesting for sure. A lot of contemplation happening.
Mm-hmm. Just the thought of taking away all the diversions. But, people go on vacation a lot of times now, not because they are, they want to get away from their work and their normal life, but they're still hooked up on vacation. It's a different kind of vacation. It's not like they're relaxing usually and taking it easy and enjoying their family. It's just a push to almost like to get something done, get something done.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just thinking about all the places people are going right now as an escape. Maybe if we change our lifestyles, we won't have any reason to be escaping. You won't need to get on a plane and go halfway around the world just to see something, right? You'll have such wonderful things within your own space.
Yeah, I wonder if that's going to happen, because of course there's so many different beautiful places on this planet. It's great to visit them. I'm like a modern gypsy, I always say, so I always like to travel. I like to be home, but at certain times I need to go and explore. And I'm not sure why that is, and if that will go away, for people.
Maybe we're going to get on a boat like we used to have to do. How would that slow things down? If you really wanted to go somewhere, you got on a ship and traveled, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think modes of transportation and everything else it's going to get slowed down. It's going to get dialed back. But people are going to be ready for it. It's going to be like their flow. They don't have to be there in 3 hours anymore. They can see stuff along the way. You can actually take a road trip.
Right. Yeah.
It's going to take a lot to get us there, but it depends on how long this lasts also.
So what do you feel? How long will this last?
I feel like it is going to be, part of me says 2 months to coming back to some sort of semblance of being able to have businesses open. But I don't know that when we do that, we're not still going to be walking. We're going to have masks or whatever. People are going to still have to be in caution mode.
Mm-hmm.
And that may have to happen anyway, because people are still going somewhere. We may have to go to plan B.
Yeah.
Because we can't control everyone's behavior. And also, the warm weather's coming. So
Right.
it's naturally going to take care of a lot of it no matter what. So some of it's just going to be...
That's in the south, That's not everywhere. The warm weather will not be everywhere constantly like this here in Oklahoma and in other places in the south.
Exactly.
So I think it will be more busy here in the south. If you ask me. I think more people will come this way.
And that may change how where people are living and stuff too. It's going to probably change all kinds of things. We just have, that's why we got the blank book too. There was no looking forward either. There was no looking back, no present moment. Every page was blank, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, and that's how it feels. It's like, no, we're putting you in this state of blindness.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to know anything. There don't need to be doing any kind of contriving to make something different, to change something.
Right.
It's just you sit and be still and just be. That's
Right.
all I expect of you, is just to sit and be still.
Mm-hmm.
Can't you just do that? And we can't unless it's forced. We can't just sit and be still. It's just like you said, you actually kicked back a little bit today. How hard is that to change your rhythm?
Well, it's not hard to change the rhythm because there is nothing to do, that I normally would do. So,
Yeah.
So.
It's forced though, because otherwise we'd still be running and going. We'd find something to do, wouldn't we?
Yes, well, but I do have to say that I still did things, but not as much as I normally do. And that was fine. I was fine with it. There was no push. There was no need to do anything else. So it's great. I embrace that. And it's something that what will come next, that we have to wait and see. I did the 7-day meditation, twice a day on YouTube live, and it was interesting still to have to do something at a certain time, a part of me didn't want to, but the other part was present because that's something that I committed to, and I felt I needed to do. But every single time that it was close to that time, I was like, oh man, I have to do that again, but as soon as I was there, it was not an oh man, it was just doing whatever needed to be done. And with that said, I mean, where we're heading towards is truly what I experienced before in the 8th paradigm, the 8th dimension, I mean, that people just did whatever they did best in the right time and space and place without communication. It was all telepathic communication, but without any conflicts or analyzing, just doing what needs to be done, living in the moment. And living in the moment to the best of your abilities, and that's something that we are now invited to adhere to as well. To truly feel the moment, appreciate the moment, and live in the moment, and make the best out of it. And prioritize according to your heart instead of your mind, because that will give you the adventures and the experiences that you will not regret.
That's nice. That's nice to think of it that way. I think most people are starting to get the whole, for me, this is like Saturday time or Sunday time when I don't have to wear a watch. Right. And I don't, even with work time, I'm still conscious of, but still I can more so do things on my own time and space. If I need to get up and walk away for 15 minutes, I can. It's the whole freedom of doing things within your own spatial time frame and not really having to know every second what time it is.
Right.
That changes everything. It's getting rid of like the time and the clock ticking aspect.
Yeah, and I think it is a time for people to explore new grounds, explore new ways, and allow themselves to manifest, their heart's desire. It's because it's out there. You have to just rediscover that. That's pretty cool stuff.
What does that look like, though? Everything we try to do now is to be bigger and better and whatever. What does that feel like if your community gets pared down to something really small and something really close? It just makes me wonder how people will approach what they want to do, what they want to be. Does that make sense? I mean, it's just like everybody's striving to be something, do something for like an impact, right?
Right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So how does that change what people aspire to be and what people aspire to do, like going forward?
Well, the thing is, it's driven now by ego, ego control, and that's why we do certain
Mm-hmm.
things. And it will not be driven by ego control; it will be driven by heart, heart desire, heart truth, and that has no boundaries and has no limitations. So you will explore new powers that you have. You will allow and acknowledge new powers that you have. And new abilities, and you will try out different things, that you normally wouldn't have the time for, and you would be more creative and accepting of self. So for a lot of people, it's hard to even imagine to live like that. But once you truly allow yourself to be you, without any boundaries, whenever you're surrendering to the moment that's given, you will have all the tools and all the abilities that you allow yourself to see and be and have. So I don't know, it will be different for every single person.
You know what just struck me? I was just thinking as you were talking about that, how much you just miss being able to hug somebody or, be face to face. And it's just like, wow, during all of this, are those that are awakened, I mean, at what point are the telepathic capabilities and things like that going to really arise? What point in time is that ability going to uncloak itself? I mean, I feel like all of a sudden I felt like it was so much just right on the surface, because even as we're talking, it still loses the feeling of being with someone. It's so much better when you can see their faces and all that, but it's still not, it doesn't have the same attachment, does it? I feel like the whole telepathic, which I feel like it's going to be even more than that. It's going to be the whole feeling as if you are with them, literally. What's your thoughts on that?
But you're saying now that we are here on Zoom together and talking and sharing, it's different than when we are in person.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's good. It's really good. It's on such a better level than just talking by phone or whatever. Obviously, it takes it up so many notches and all that just to be able to see somebody's face.
Right.
But it still doesn't have the whole, like that touch thing.
Right.
Because I can still even feel your energy, but I feel like it's diminished somewhat just by the way it has to be communicated or transmuted or whatever the word is. It is definitely dialed down from being in the space, being all the way physically present.
Right. But I think that has to do with what we are used to, because every single thing that we are experiencing is what we are allowing ourselves to experience. Okay. So for you to say that, yes, it's better seeing your face, but still, I feel your energy, you said, but still it's different. It's a different level of connection. But that has to do with you allowing that level to be wherever it is. Okay, and it happens very naturally. I mean, we are used to having a connection face to face. When we are together in a room, we are used to interact and exchange energies when we are together with people in person. And now we are not able to be in person with each other. So this is actually, we are being invited now to connect on different levels, and technology is helping us with that. but we're also, as we're talking here, we're leading towards the invitation to explore where you're holding back, to truly feel each other, to really be present as it would be when you were in the same room together,
And I feel like that's like the cracking open, and maybe it's just me
Mm-hmm.
that
So
doesn't have that full capability to do that. But I feel like it is so close for just so many people.
Yeah, it's closed
So like
off.
that's the next level of opening up.
Right. It's closed off still because of the unfamiliarity with it, but also because there wasn't touch before, in our mind even, that it was possible to be as present even though we're not physically present, and just talking about this makes it come to the surface and makes people realize that they can start practicing this. Whenever you talk to your friends or your family over, a Zoom or a Skype or FaceTime, connect with their heart, from your heart to theirs. Just do some breathing exercises and have the intent to connect with that person's heart, that person's essence. And as you do, you feel the connection being made. And as the connection is being made, it's almost like the person is projected into your presence, into your room. So do you want to practice that?
That's the funny thing. I actually did that with Christy the other day.
Okay, there you go.
But it was just, helping her to center and all that. But yes, just the process of doing that, both of us doing that simultaneously. And just knowing that the heart connection needs to take place first before you even have any kind of conversation. So it's not that I haven't had that in my awareness before, but not much is right now, I guess, as to, no, I feel like that's another big shift that's just right around the corner as far as
exploring new grounds of connection, interconnection. That's really the interconnection that we talk about.
Yeah, but it just like it wasn't needed. If you can be physically present, then it just literally that stuff is, well, you are going to need it. So evolve.
Right.
But that really is pretty cool. I mean,
yeah.
And I know that already. It's just like me being present, like with Julie, even though she's not in this physical space. I mean, how you can still have that interconnection that's on a different level than what it is with some of the people that you're walking around next to.
Right. Yeah.
So we have an awareness of it. We all have an awareness of it. It's just, it's been easier to use the other form of communication.
Yes. Well, so that's just something new that needs to be practiced, and practice makes perfect. So
I kind of love it. It's kind of exciting, isn't it?
It is. It is. Yeah. So I don't know if you want to practice it now here so people can see or maybe can feel the shift happening too. But as you said, it's different now to not feel my presence as you normally do when we're in the same room. Let's see if we can make that shift here really quick. Okay. So just
go for it.
Yeah, just you can close your eyes or leave your eyes open. That's all good. And just take some deep breaths. And this is something that other people that listen can do with other people that they're working with or interacting with or communicating with as well. Just close your eyes or leave your eyes open. But it's very important that you start doing some breathing exercises to let go of expectations and let go of mind control. And just make your heart connection. And as you make your heart connection, you see a strand going to the other person's heart and fuel it with love until it makes its way all the way to the other side. And the thing is, what happens with me is because this is how I communicate with people. When I connect to their energies, I connect to their higher self, and I start to communicate on a different level. That's happening with you as well. I connected with you, and I connected with your higher self, and we started to have a conversation. Okay, so that's the next step that will happen with other people too when they are going to connect on this level. Did you feel a shift happening?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's very simple, and the more you do this, the more you practice this, the more normal it becomes. You know, I do different sessions with people. Doesn't matter where they are. Long distance sessions as well, because we um, we are always together, and we are as far apart as we allow ourselves to be far apart. So with that, I mean, you know, there's no such thing as place and distance and time even. It's all in the head. So if you let go of that restriction and you move on the highway of connection, so it shall be. You know, it's pretty cool stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah. And yes, in the beginning, you will feel other people's energy in a way that you don't want to feel. You may feel maybe some heaviness in their hearts because of sadness, or you may feel the joy, you know. You feel, um, you may feel just other sensations that are not yours, but you will understand that it's not yours because you um, have come to a place where you recognize self more. You are more self-aware of your own energies and your ways and your abilities, and it will not be confusing. But in the beginning, it will be a little bit, you know, and that's why people don't do that, because they get scared from the sensations that they cannot place. But just be very aware of your own self, and make a connection with your heart, and stay within your energy without fear, and connect and scan. First, playfully scan and read who you are connecting with, and then go back to your own energy, go back and forth, so you become more aware of the shift and the connection and the changes that are in line with that, you know, that you can feel. So this is all about, you know, becoming more consciously the spiritual beings that we truly are. So uh, have fun with it, I would say.
It's making me wonder about the space that I am in at this moment, because when I originally opened up, I had so much of other people's energy coming into my space
Mm-hmm.
that it was so confusing, because people literally would be talking to me from who knows where, and just like crying out for help, or just trying to get my attention or whatever. And I had to dial it down. And then I finally figured out when energy wasn't mine, like all this, the sadness or something that would come in. I sorted through and realized, nope, that's not mine. I don't know whose it is. So I guess I don't know how to tune into the frequency of who is actually speaking to me. I don't know how to recognize the phone number, the communication.
Okay. Well, in the beginning, it's very subtle, you know, because all these abilities have been latent, existing within your essence, and as it is very subtle, you know, it's awaiting you to nurture it. So the more you put energy towards it, the more you practice it, the stronger it becomes, and the more clear it becomes. And it's truly practice makes perfect, you know, also on this behalf. Um, but whenever you feel a certain energy or certain information coming your way, um, what do you do? What do you do that makes it for you not understandable where it comes from? Can you give an example?
I don't even know how to give you an example, I don't think. Um, In the beginning, and like I say, I have just turned a lot of it down. I think I just turned the sound down pretty far because it was just like I was on an open frequency network, and everybody could see like that I was on the internet, and everybody was just so blasting me, from everywhere. There was no way to sort out
There
like
was no
one.
filter. Yeah.
It was totally unfiltered. And then and then all I could do was kind of turn that volume down or shut down some of the bandwidth so maybe not so much came to me. And I can recognize it, if it's family members or things like that to a certain extent. I can dial into that frequency or whatever. But as far as just knowing with pretty good certainty a wider circle, widening that circle and being able to know whose frequency that is, that's difficult for me.
Okay. So when a certain being or spirit or however you want to call it is communicating with you, you cannot really decipher who that is, and you cannot ask, or you don't ask.
I have asked before, but a lot of this it's not beings. It's people on the earth. It's other people that I don't even know who they are, and I could tell it was not beings. I mean, I've known how to separate, that out. It just people physically, telepathically or whatever, communicating with me and just blasting me from everywhere because they could see me.
I see.
The beings are really easy. I can tell by what they look like to me.
Right.
The ones that are known to me. Now occasionally it'll be somebody who's not, like somebody new's come into town or whatever, but I can recognize that they're new, and I don't recognize them, or they don't have a shape, or they don't have a form. They're just that voice speaking to me. But it's the people present on the earth already that.
And you can hear conversations from, or thoughts from. You can pick up their thoughts, you can pick up their intent or their needs.
Oh yeah.
And
most of this was like voice-like. I mean, it was purely like telepathic. They're speaking to me.
Right. Yeah. Now I understand what you're saying, because that sometimes happens with me when I do something different. I'm just maybe working in the yard, and then I hear a certain conversation or whatever that has nothing in relation to me, but certain words are being felt or are coming through, that I know it's somebody else's thought patterns. And why is that happening? Why do we feel and sense that? There's a lot of people outside, a little distracted here. But why do we sense that, or why do we tune into that? It's just, whenever you are, okay, how can I say that in the easiest way? We are living in a certain vibration, in a certain frequency, okay? And all depending what we're doing, we are moving to different channels, different frequencies. So whenever I'm, for instance, doing yard work, I go to a certain level where certain people are, so I can hear them, and then I go away because I don't want to hear them, or I go, higher or lower because I don't want to hear them. That's what you're doing too. You cancel it out. You go to a different channel, you don't want to hear it anymore. Okay, so that's what's happening. And certain spirits that are still wandering, there's different communications between different people, spirits, and beings, but certain spirits that are trapped more or less, in between in the astral world, they recognize, you know, whoever can see and feel and hear them, you know, as well. But they don't always have the right intentions, you know. But anyways, no matter who is communicating with or trying to communicate with you, you're in charge. And as you said, you know, you cancel it out, or you tune down the tone or the volume. We can do that with our heart's intent, you know. Just have the intent, like, I don't want to hear that. You make that decision and you close off, you close the door, okay? When you want to become more aware of who is talking to you, if that's important to you, you can tune in more into that frequency where it's coming from. You can just have that heart's intent and you know, turn up that the volume of that channel, you know. So the only way that we can operate these buttons is by not embracing fear, but truly allowing ourselves to trust in our abilities and embrace all of our abilities. And that's how we can nurture it fully and have it evolve further and become stronger. So does it make sense what I just said? Was it pretty clear, or do you need some more information with that?
No, it's just that I find it interesting that today it's come back around to me that that's something that I need to be tuning in to, the people that really I need to be having that kind of communication with. I feel like I'm being called to exercise that, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, and go explore and see why it's coming your way, and if there's something that you need to understand. It could be something that you need to learn about you. It could also be something that you can help with for that person or those people or those beings, you know. It's there's no one explanation for it. So explore and feel what needs to be done in that moment, you know. It's all good though. It's see it as an adventure, because it is, and explore.
It is, because that's another one of those things. Communication is going to change. That's what, yeah, now I realize that they're saying that to me, that it's time to recognize how it's going to change.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to draw a card to finalize today's conversation, unless you want to share something else that we haven't shared yet.
I don't know. I just keep coming across stuff that I've written. It's laying somewhere, and it's interesting how it pops back up. But as we were having the conversation, it's just thinking about the soul journey, all of that, where we were all together. Just became so apparent how necessary it was to peel away some of the stuff that was still causing stagnation, and how much preparation actually was being done each and every time on so many different levels.
Absolutely. So
I mean, I felt it then, but it feels like it's magnified now. It's like, see, you know, we were telling you, and you just couldn't comprehend it yet. You had to be in this space and time before it would be logical and make sense to you.
Yeah. So the card is for the time to come. That's what they said as I was shuffling it. And the card is Ego, number 15. Archangel Jophiel. A false sense of entrapment, being overly focused on material things, negative or fear-based thoughts. Okay. So that's the time to come for humanity. I'm going to read a little bit more about, you know, the description of the card in the book here. The angels want you to know that the entrapment you're feeling isn't real. This card indicates that a lot of your feelings are stemming from anxieties and aren't based in reality. So give your fears to God and the angels and ask for their help in adopting a more positive perspective on this situation. This card also indicates that you're focused upon the material things in life. Heaven acknowledges that you, like everyone, have physical needs. However, your attention to the accumulation of possessions is out of balance. Reassess why you want to acquire these items. I'm thinking about toilet paper. Perhaps you're trying to fill an emotional void, which material objects could never do. What you're really craving is inner peace through a spiritual path. An additional meaning of this card is refusal to face the truth or to take personal responsibility for the situation, addictions, temptations, dependency, excessive debt. So
The people still driving in their cars.
Right.
And going everywhere. Yeah.
Jophiel is the archangel who helps us experience beautiful emotions and think beautiful thoughts. Call upon Jophiel whenever you need a boost in how you feel about yourself, your life, and the world. So that's what's going to happen in the time to come. You know, this is how humanity is going to address themselves and the world. You know, and going to learn about a different pace and a different way to embrace. This card, it really beautifully has an angel on it that's more or less embracing. You know. A person with a mask on, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So it's that's how humanity has walked the earth, you know, with a mask on, you know, living a lie truly, and it's time to let go of the negative and fear-based thoughts and embrace your truth and beauty. That's that belongs to that. Yeah. So I think it will be good to do this every now and then, whenever we feel called upon, you know, to have a conversation about the current status or current, you know, situations in life, and share that. How do you feel about that?
As called to do, I suppose.
We'll just go with the flow. All right. Well, it's Friday. It's really weird. You have to really think about what day is it, because, you know, life is not more or less directing you to understand what day it is. At least in my case, it is. But yeah, I wish everybody a wonderful weekend, and until we meet again.
All right. It was good seeing your face, feeling your energy.
Yes, and I invite people to practice that. All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.